Hello, my name is John Beekman. I am Chief Librarian at the Jersey City Free Public Library. For most of my career, I've worked in the local history department, the New Jersey Room. Today, I want to talk a little bit about our department and especially highlight a project we are just beginning in partnership with the Community Webs program of the Internet Archive, along with 6 other institutions across the country. I'll start off with the widest context. For those who don't know, Jersey City is New Jersey's second largest city after Newark and is the county seat of Hudson County. We are located directly across the Hudson from Lower Manhattan, and the area's fortunes since the time of European settlement have always been tied to our neighbor across the lower Hudson estuary, from the New Netherland era to the post-industrial neoliberal global city of today. The Jersey City Free Public Library was established in 1889, not long after the library law was passed in New Jersey, allowing for municipalities to create free public libraries with a dedicated percentage of local taxes going to their support. The Priscilla Gardner Main Library building was opened in 1901, and our system has since added 10 branches, a bookmobile, and a creative arts center. Ensuring access to and promoting the use of local history resources has been an essential part of the library's mission from its founding through the present day. In 1964, the New Jersey Room was established as a dedicated local history collection. The local history materials held by our New Jersey Room are among the premier sources for local history in the state of New Jersey. Our collections include maps, books, photographs, research files, collections arranged archivally, state documents, and other print ephemera. Our bread and butter has always been, like with other local history collections, genealogy and people doing the history of their home or neighborhood, as well as the sort of general things you think of when you hear the term history. Jersey City Free Public Library's collaboration in digitization initiatives dates back to our work with the New Jersey Digital Highway in 2006, which was actually my first task at the library, and has continued through our participation in developing the New Jersey Delaware hub of the Digital Public Library of America. We've also done a lot of uploading to hosted Omeka sites as an easy way to get things out there. Many of those collections have been ingested into DPLA. We've had our collection of 19th century newspapers on microfilm scanned and uploaded to a freely accessible site. In 2020, we got involved with the Community Webs and created a web archive of local sites documenting the COVID-19 era. In 2023, through a county-administered state grant, we added a collection of city planning materials to the Internet Archive and have also begun adding historic maps to that collection. Following on our involvement with Community Webs, we were invited to submit some collections that might fit the mission of the Diversifying Access to the Local Historical Record with Community Webs grant proposal. Ultimately, contributions from Athens Clarke County Library, Bellin Public Library, District of Columbia Public Library, Evanston History Center, San Francisco Public Library, and the William B. Harlan Memorial Library, as well as our collection, constituted the content of the grant proposal. We welcome the opportunity to continue our partnership with the Community Webs program of the Internet Archive through this grant project. Bringing the technical expertise and digital infrastructure of the Internet Archive and Community Webs to our deep collection of print resources will help us continue to fulfill our mission of making local history discoverable and accessible to the widest possible audience. As our contribution to the project, we offer municipal records from 1873 to 1970 and 2 collections of scrapbooks, one compiled by the Board of Education from 1864 to 1948, continuous from 1897, and one compiled by the city government from 1963 to 1970. The 112 volumes of Board of Education scrapbooks from 1864 to 1948, though, as I noted, continuous starting in 1897, consists of clippings compiled by the Board of Education, which detail not only stories related to public education across the first half of the 20th century, but also the broader social context in which the schools operated. Reforms of the progressive era, which came with xenophobic Americanization ideologies attached, the upheavals of two world wars, the influenza epidemic, and the Great Depression of the 1930s. All of these are documented in the stories compiled by the Board of Education. A century ago, we see headlines about the Bible in schools and anti-vaccination campaigns that wouldn't be out of place today. The 88 volumes of municipal scrapbooks cover key years of urban crisis and decline, as covered in the conventional narrative, from 1963 to 1970. The interstate highway system and container shipping had made the Jersey City port facilities obsolete, removing the economic base that had sustained the city for a century. These economic factors, coupled with and shaped by shifting demographics following a quarter century of white flight and in-migration of African Americans from the South and Puerto Ricans during the mid-century period when external immigration was severely limited, resulted in an urban population without the opportunities that had sustained immigrant communities of prior generations, coupled with broader effects of structural racism and prejudice. The troubles faced by many American cities in the 1960s were thus magnified in Jersey City. While this scrapbook collection was compiled by and for the city government, they are detailed in recording the issues facing local politicians of the day. In addition to the scrapbooks, we are also digitizing 318 bound volumes of municipal records from 1853 to 1970. These include printed minutes and financial reports of city government and select agencies for development and education, including the main city government under three types of structure from 1853 to 1970, public works and the streets and water supply from 1861 to 1913, the finance board from 1871 to 1907, comptroller from 1865 to 1908, some gaps, and the Board of Education from 1873 to 1970. These records document the history of the city across its rise and fall as a port city from the mid to late 19th century through the mid 20th century. The city closest to Ellis Island, Jersey City, has always been a city of immigrants, and the stories of how individuals navigated the city's governance and economic structures can be uncovered through access to these records. The period also covers the emergence and dominance of the Irish political machine, which developed in the late 19th century and was perfected in its execution by long-serving Mayor Frank Hague. The functioning of the ethnicity-based political machines of the turn of the 20th century is a valuable point of comparison and contrast to the ways other immigrant and minority groups experience governance. Digitization of these materials will be an invaluable enhancement. The innumerable individuals who appear in the pages of municipal records seeking economic opportunity through business licenses and contract payments, or seeking redress, can be more readily uncovered than ever before through digital search functions. The nuts and bolts of the functioning of a quintessential urban ethnic political machine can be more fully documented and understood. The work of countless hands at the Board of Education and City Hall who selected materials for news scrapbooks documenting the social and political context of Jersey City's growth in the first 7 decades of the 20th century, carefully preserved by the library, can be accessible without geographic limit through the technology of the 21st century. The past several months have seen the start of metadata creating and preparation of materials to be shipped to the scanning center in Princeton. The first boxes of books go out this week. Thanks for taking the time to hear about our collection and this new project to increase accessibility. You can find information about the library, including contact information for the New Jersey Room, at jclibrary.org.